Yes, so we are live on Facebook. Welcome everyone. We shall wait
Hello,
for a couple of
everyone.
minutes. We can broadcast as well, Amrita, now, I guess.
So can you hear me clearly?
Yes, you're very
Yes,
audible.
very well.
Okay.
Hi, Renuka. So I can see people have started coming in.
Yeah. No, we always have to have our IST 5-7 minutes more.
Yes.
So, Renuka, now we're wondering who that is for. Ma'am, you look lovely in a sari. Is
Bota and sari.
Lakshmi, that's directed to you.
Well, it's you because I guess she knows you well. So many things
So
hang
lovely to
around,
see
you
people
know.
coming in. So, will you all please write it, write where you are from in the chat. Tell us a little about yourself. Tell us if you've seen our webinars earlier.
Renuka says she
Lakshmi,
can't
they
see
can't
me
see
clearly.
you, Lakshmi.
Really? Bella, can you see me?
I can see you very good. Maybe you can go a little higher, maybe, that's all. Otherwise, you're perfect.
Is this okay?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Lovely. Now we can see your beautiful sari as well.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Dwani. Nice to see you. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing you. I'm only seeing your name. So we are kind of responding to the messages.
Right.
Hi, Gangotri. Gangotri is from Baroda. So wonderful. Gangotri, have you been to any of our webinars earlier?
Namaste, Kapoorji. He's like our guru. We were fellow mates, classmates in a course.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was
Thank you, Dwani.
very inspiring.
So we'll have all your fans coming in today.
Yes. Well, we have two fans and on the panel out here with you.
Thank you. But I guess it's a very mutual admiration.
So we
It's
have
like
Rashmi.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah, you remember that? I don't know if you saw this Oscar-winning very short film called Neighbor's Window. I will send you that link. It's like that. It's like that.
Hi, Alka. Alka's from Mumbai. Nice to know, Alka.
I like that Rashmi is joining us from
Here.
Canada.
Ambika, flying kisses to you.
Oh. What time is it, the time zone in Canada now? Is it early morning?
5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m. My God.
Wow, Rashmi, this is really nice. I love the commitment. You know, I love that people are so committed to learning, hearing new things. It's amazing.
Hi, Shilpa.
Shilpa's from your school, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Those passionate teachers.
Yes.
Probably has done a full day of teaching and there they are.
Amazing. Let's clap and for all the teachers who are doing that. Superb.
Yep.
Nice.
One thing about teachers, their boundless energy.
Yes.
Redmi, will you please rename yourself so we know who you are?
Are there any parents on this group as well?
I don't know if it's Colonel Sam.
Or we are all teacher group today?
Yeah, I guess it's largely.
Teachers, no?
Hello, yeah. Hi, Bhageshri. Bhageshri is another teacher from my school.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nearly 7-8 months counting, right? School shut.
Yes. Everyone is
Hello.
going to this.
Yeah, hi,
And I think
Neha.
the next year for preschools, I don't know what the situation is going to be.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, scary to imagine it also. Hi, Darshana. Darshana is a special educator at the Orchid School.
Nice. We just wait a couple of more minutes, then we should start.
Yeah.
Those on Facebook, can we see how many on Facebook right now? Let me just look at the phone and see.
Yes. Namaste, Colonel Sir.
Oh, my Rekha's on
So
Facebook. Hi,
lovely.
Rekha.
Hi,
And
Rekha.
hello.
Mahima also is there. Hi, Mahima. Manisha also. Manisha, hi. So those who cannot come here are on Facebook. I'm so happy to see all of them.
Hello.
Vandana.
Hi, Vandana. Vandana is the counselor at Orchid School.
Hi, Vandana.
Colonel Prem Prakash, and we were in the same course and attending from Patna.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we are like the classmates, the batchmates of 2018. No, 2000. Yeah, 18. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
No,
Professor Nankumar.
2019. Sorry, 2019. Hi, Philu. Again, yeah, there she's correcting me. I'm kind of
19.
losing track of time. Yeah.
This year has been such.
Yeah.
So Rekha Shani is the one who recommended you on our show today.
Yeah.
She's watching it from Facebook today. So
Oh, okay. Yesterday, when she's the one who shared that little video and splashed it on all the groups. And I
yes.
felt that, very rare for an educator to promote a fellow educator. That generosity is unparalleled.
No, Rekha is always doing that.
Yeah,
She's always doing
very
that, supporting
generous with
everyone.
everything.
Yeah, and connecting people, connecting the,
Yes.
and expanding our horizon of the educational world.
I think she should.
So thank you,
She
Rekha,
comes
for
with a
hearing
board
us.
saying, "Happy to help."
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Nandakumar
very
sir.
few people do that.
Yeah, Professor Kakiride heads the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And, very, very fond memories of ETST in Panchgani.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was my course mate there. I think,
Okay.
when you ask me, I think I'm more attending and doing more courses than me conducting courses.
Yeah, it's happening to us as well.
Yeah,
How many
yeah,
webinars we've attended in this particular lockdown period.
yeah.
But it's always good to upskill yourself, whatever you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think very required.
Yeah.
Even Hemangani is always there on our show. Hi, Hemangani. She's watching
Hi,
from
Hemangani.
Facebook.
Hi,
Atul Tyagi is
Rashmi. Rashmi was
watching.
also part of a group. Kalyani Di is my teacher from Orchid School. Like I said, imagine all of them teaching a full day, and here they are sitting for a webinar.
Awesome. Thank you so
Wonderful,
much.
really.
These show the passionate teachers who want to learn more
Yeah,
in life.
yeah.
I think this topic is so apt, you know,
Yes.
professional development. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And we have our all-time Dinu also on our show, watching from Facebook. Hi, Dinu, to you as well.
hi,
Nice to see
Dinu.
you.
I think now we look for these names, you know,
Yes.
because they come regularly and we
Mm,
wait to see them.
mm. In fact, it's interesting, you know, AB, you're Amrita and Bela, and I'm like, this, neither I'm C nor I'm D.
C&D is child development. That is
I
it.
know. No, it's very aptly done. It's very wonderful
Yes.
acronym for that. But I'm also
Thank you so
loving it
much.
that, you know, that the child development is not particularly restrained to an age group, but you're
Right.
looking at the expansive world of, you know, education. I think that's very nice.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
I think as far as we understand the influence we can have as educators on children and on them growing up, I think that's the point we can make a difference. So, whatever age we are as educators or parents, and as children are, I think they have that need to get influenced correctly.
Right.
I
Hi,
think, should we
Renuka and
start?
Meghna from Facebook. They're watching. Yes, we can start with our video and then we'll go ahead.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Amrita Rajpan. I've been teaching for 22 years, but I've been learning my whole life. And that's why I have a company called Edu Learn Grow. I'm a sports nutritionist. I'm an avid traveler, and I'm an active Rotarian. I'm also the territory head for the Early Childhood Association Mumbai. I'm founder EduLearn Grow and co-founder the ABCD Show.
Hi, I'm Bela Kotwani, also known as Big B. Big for the size of my heart and B for Bela. A fun loving person with a great sense of humor and a passionate pickleball player. National Core Committee member of Early Childhood Association, founder and principal of Cosmic Kids International, co-founder Puppet Maestros, and co-founder the ABCD Show. The ABCD Show is a show where everything concerned with children is addressed.
We're going to get in eminent experts whose opinions matter. We're going to introduce you to new products. We're going to have theories unfold into practice. We'll discuss mental health and wellness. We'll look at best practices. We'll give you parenting tips and we'll explore tools and strategies to help you teach
So,
effectively.
if you are a preschool coordinator, parent, teacher, or anyone who has anything to do with children, this show is for you.
So don't forget to like our page to know more about our upcoming events.
So, welcome everybody on the ABCD show. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be welcoming Dr. Lakshmi Kumar today on our show. So, Dr. Lakshmi Kumar, for the ones who don't know, is a very well-known educationist and very interestingly, an intercultural coach. So her expertise spans from establishing quality schools, building teams, developing educational processes, and initiating best practices for both school and higher education. She is the founder director of the Orchid School Pune, and she specializes in social studies, integrated and interdisciplinary curriculum, and inclusive education. She also provides a range of training services and consultation in the areas of education, coaching leaders, quality initiatives, and school improvement programs. So Ms. Kumar specializes in training culture workers, mainly from Sweden. This is so interesting, really. You know, teachers, social workers, lawyers, nurses, and to work with multicultural communities. She's been a coordinator and academic supervisor for Sweden India project based in Örebro University from the last 25 years. So Dr. Lakshmi Kumar, I don't know if I can read so many of your awards, but I think I'll just say a few of them because there are so many really. Let me take the most recent ones. So Dr. Kumar has won the International Gold Star Millennium Award for promoting international understanding. She's the Outstanding Educational Leader, West Zone by Advaita Foundation, Bangalore, 2017. She's got the Planet's Pride Award, 2018 by Women Planet Foundation. She's got the TCS ION 21st Century Technology Leader Award,
Wow.
which is 2018 and 2019. Wonderful. The Honorary Doctorate 2019 for Social Work and Humanities Department by Örebro University, Sweden, and the National Green Mentor Educator Award for Green Initiatives through Project Learning. And to say that I actually read only a few.
That's
so
awesome.
welcome.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Welcome,
Kumar.
Lakshmi,
It's
from
such
me
a
as well.
pleasure to have you here.
Oh, my pleasure. I think, you know, these awards are part of the CV, but I think the test of the pudding finally is in its tasting.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
the pudding has been tried, tested, and proven.
Okay.
so, so right now, we are congratulating you on all the awards also, and we're happy
Thank
to have you
you.
on our show. And
Thank
we're going
you.
to start with the questions. So, you know, our topic today is professional development of the team, a 360-degree view. So we're looking at all aspects of professional development. Now, I'm going to start with the starting point for any early childhood educator by way of qualification is an ECC. You know, it could either be a diploma or it could be a certificate. Now, these certificates range or they span from 3 months to a year. So a teacher coming into a school can have as much as 3 months of experience or 3 months of knowledge and then coming into the school. So my question here is, what should be the professional developmental needs of an organization beyond this certification? Because these certificates are given out for anyone with, you know, wide range of educational qualifications.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for, first of all, inviting me on this lovely titled show called ABCD. And, you know, I'm glad it stands for the child development, overall child development, which is a core responsibility of any educational system. And the early childhood education puts such a wonderful foundation. You know, it's interesting that I actually, 1988, I was one of the core key trainers of ECA in Mumbai with,
Wow.
with the Dr. Freni Tarapur
Okay.
You know, those community of educators with whom, especially from the SNDT, was one of the foundation pillars of ECA. So, you know, I quite recognize the ethos of the community.
Right.
So coming to your question of whether it is a 3-month, you know, certification, 1 year, you know, maybe a diploma, or you have the BA degree program, I'm largely also talking about the Indian context, that it pretty much gives you theoretical background, needless to say, quite an outdated syllabus. And a very little hands-on actual field experience.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you know, teaching is one of the most human-centric professions, and this is the only one that has no training, you know, which is mandated on actually dealing with your clients, so to say, your learning, you know, students are your clients. Having said that, you know, talked about the irony, you get what you get. So you have probably academically highly inclined and you know, well certified teachers, but you know, not really very much, or 1 or 2 micro lessons probably in the BEd, and in ECA you have like a lesson observation, or you know, of course, if it's a child development program which is from the SNDT or ECA, you know, early childhood you know, certification, you have a little more. But the reality check begins the day you join the school. And that it really, first of all, you realize that you are very ill equipped in the real sense of the classroom, human dynamics. So that's where it begins in terms of your, what you would say, on the job training. So we as educators need to recognize that my 30 years of my experience, for example, in COVID time, I am starting at zero. I've never been an educator in COVID times. I've never done teaching, you know, didactics and transactions in the lockdown time. So for all of us, its starting point is zero now. So my learning has to start. So, I mean, in any educational ecosystem, this has to be the growth mindset that I say. That it doesn't matter that you have come with 16 years, 20 years, 6 months, you know, experience, but you are always on that point 1 to begin with. That's the growth mindset, that you know, that my learning has to be starting with the unlearning of a lot of things that I was taught in my classroom. And you know, it's unfortunately we have still not improved those certification systems. We are least employable community. You know, we talk about Indian engineers, only 20% are employable. Actually, we as teachers, when we are graduates, we are not employable because we don't have a field experience. But we don't have the luxury of, you know, recruiting teachers, making them sit on the bench for a year like IT companies do, and they send you to a training center like the Infosys does for 1 full year after you graduate. Studying 4 years, you sit in nice air conditioned hall and you actually relearn and, you know, unlearn everything about work. We don't have that luxury. Hence, schools have to design a lot of programs, starting with the induction to, you know, very specific skills based on what competencies are required. So we have to reinvent the wheel the minute we recruit our team members.
Very true. It's so required because teachers are sometimes just thrown into the classroom and they don't know how to, you know, go about with things. So it's
And
very,
you
very
know, it's amazing that we don't recognize education as an enterprise. We think it's some kind of a garguti, you know, chalo aa jao or join ho jao, here is your,
right.
you know, class and this. but we don't talk about organization culture, organization ethos, including sometimes service rules are not clarified. What are some of the very clear non-negotiables in terms of behavior, and what are the code of ethics for a teacher, because it's an extraordinary profession based on ethics. But what we do is we grab the candidate, we do certain recruitment formalities, and bingo, the teacher is in the classroom. So I think we are not really recognizing that our recruitment is a huge human resource cost.
Right.
If we don't handle it mindfully.
True. And even the attitude of the teacher makes a big difference. With
Yes.
what right attitude she's coming to focus with the child.
Yeah. And again, I say this, there are no ready-made candidates waiting for this, because schools are not very universal ecosystems, and expectations of a kindergarten teacher is very different from the senior secondary teachers. So within those ecosystems you have subdomains or sub contexts in which you're operating. So we don't have those ready-made people waiting there, just okay, just plant them in. So you will have to look at what I would call it the KSA, the knowledge, because if you're teaching the kindergarten, the knowledge content is very different, and it's not lower or higher. It's very different from if you're teaching a middle school to the senior secondary. And when I say knowledge, oftentimes we narrow it down to my subject knowledge, but I'm talking about my subjects knowledge, not my subject knowledge, my subjects, my students knowledge, of their, age, growth criteria, and their, aging woes or demands, or their phase of life, like adolescent, pre-adolescent, like grade 8 and grade 9 can be a world of difference. Right. Grade 4 and grade 5 can be a world of difference in my subjects. So we're talking about an entire knowledge ecosystem, and very, very closely associated is the skills and attitude. Right. I require different skill sets for different, age group and different, transaction of subjects. And the universal requirement overriding all this is attitude. I can give you a crown, but if you don't have the right attitude, you don't sustain
That's
it.
What. Very true.
So you're very right. Very right.
Actually, I would narrow down your 8th and 9th standard or 4th and 5th to an A and B child. Each child is different.
And I was thinking of what you were saying, the subject's knowledge is so apt, because here we're looking at a developmentally appropriate curriculum at that age. You're not looking at an age, because a child is developing at that age. So, keeping that in mind, seeing your child, seeing the rate of development, and then the kind of learner, and then giving out that knowledge. It's a very specialized job.
It is, and it is it's culturally contextualized also. Many times, unfortunately, we are being given the theories from the Western developmental milestones, and that could be very different from a child growing in Mumbai and Pune, from an upper class and middle class, from a Parsi community to Maharashtrian community. And we don't realize that we expect a very uniform application of our knowledge. And like you rightly said, that if I'm not aware of this, I expect a 3-year-old to start writing. Like I expect a 8th grade child to be working so well in a group process. But that's the time they are least group oriented. Everybody wants their individual autonomy, and they're very argumentative. And so if we are not aware of this very, very important knowledge of my subjects, in quote unquote, I think then it doesn't matter how good I am with my subject called English and math and science. I'm still, far from, a more suitable facilitator for my students.
So rightly said. So let's move on to the next question now, Dr. Lakshmi. The next question is, educational leadership normally starts with business owners, or by default, you could say is a teacher who is like a senior teacher for so many years, she's teaching in the school. Suddenly, okay, let's make her the coordinator. But she doesn't have the right skill set for that particular job. So how can she upskill herself? What training is required for that? Can you help us with that as well?
I think, in our casual conversation also, we talked about, especially again coming back to the Indian context, somehow educational default leadership really is not by design and oftentimes by default. Fair enough. Again, we take what comes and we work with it. A lot of time, especially in a smaller enterprise, the leader is by design and default the owner. When I say there are different kinds of leadership, you have a management leader and you have the overall school leader. But we never understand that both of them require certain sets of knowledge and skill, and all of us require the attitude. So I'm kind of keeping that aside. Let's look at the educational leadership. A senior teacher becoming the head of a school, principal or a coordinator, or what you would call the domain head. Nothing wrong per se in the practice, but having taken that position, unless I go through my own competency mapping, unless I go through, what does my job require in terms of knowledge and skill sets, and what is that I have? I cannot ride on just my past experience and by my learning. And I do believe that, specifically, I think the leadership requires big training in human resource handling. I see that educational leaders don't have a lot of time, a professional approach to dealing with the team. And if you look at any other human intense organizations, they invest largely in understanding the human resource mindset. Another one big chunk of knowledge I feel is financial management. There are a lot of courses for finance for non-financial people. And a lot of time I've seen educators saying, admin is not my cup of tea. Hello, you are the CEO of the school. You jolly well learn it. You jolly well become proficient. Do what you need to, but you must understand the bread and butter, which is also financial health of the organization, as much as the emotional climate of the organization. And seek whatever formal, informal training, certification course, but you must acquire this knowledge of where the money comes from, how the money is handled. And I'm not saying, you need to have the larger whole picture, but how do you create a budget and how do you evaluate even a return of investment? Unfortunately, in educational ecosystem, none of these words are even used. I send you for a training and then you come back and I ask you, so how was your training? Very nice. Very good. Neither very nice nor very good has any commitment,
Yes.
any color, any character. I'm saying what was relevant. I'm asking you when I say, how was your training? Was it relevant for you? What part of the training you would be able to use it in your newer role? And how would you measure the return of investment of the training? Because school invests in you for the time and the money that has been given. But this accountability is a most important attitude, I feel, that this kind of, we need to look at. So when it comes to leadership, am I up to date with pedagogy? What kind of methods are suitable for my age and stage of learners, as I say, my subjects? What is the latest? There is this wonderful academician and my most favorite author, apart from all the others, is Neil Postman. He makes fun of us. He says education is the only industry that actually looks into the rear view and learns to drive. Oftentimes we still think about when I was in school. Whereas our training must give us this possibility and knowledge of how futuristic the vision is. And you have to have other ancillary skills like the financial management, human resource management. You by default have to become a counselor. And you by default need to be a good decision maker and not nice decision maker alone. You are required to make tough decisions, but making decisions based on data and not on feelings and notions alone. And I'm not saying leave the feelings aside, but the data must give you the guiding tools. So these are some of the skill sets I would say that really need to be incorporated in a design for a training and upgradation of for my role.
True. I think you have to add one more point here is technology now.
Absolutely, yeah. I kind of took it for granted. Yeah,
Yes.
and I know what you mean. I have
Yeah.
seen another, these are things that we really need to get out of, the Sadhu cat story.
Right.
I see leaders not answering their mails. 21st century. So we have been talking about 21st century learners, and I'm saying 21st century leaders.
Right.
You want a secretary, you want a typist, you want a peon, just whereas I'm saying you want to be in touch with your clients, that's your students, your parents, your
Correct.
community, your stakeholders. You have to start typing. You have to really show that you are also,
Connected to
upgrading
them.
yourself
Yeah.
with technology. That's kind of given a no option
Given in.
at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I've seen enough people over there wanting to be nice. So there are teachers who have problems at home, and everyone has problems at home. But as a school leader, you either need to help them solve their problems and then have them come, or you need to give them the space to solve their problems and then come. But your school cannot be going down, because there is an unprofessional view of how to handle
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
So I think those things have to be
Yeah, and I
really
think
looked at
that's where,
seriously.
that's where I think as a leader, to help, support, be empathic, compassionate, but be firm. And these are
Yes.
not a either or option. These are not either or situation. We need to be compassionate. At the same time, we need to be firm because we cannot compromise the stakeholders' interest.
Very true.
And they have trusted you with certain learning responsibilities.
And
And
why
it's
are we here? When we're looking at
yeah,
it, we need to introspect on why we are there
yeah,
in the first place.
yeah. And
That
we need to, that's where I find that okay, my course hasn't equipped me. Now I'm in this chair. Now I need to look for the course or a program or a study material or a certification, and I need to actively engage in that to build my competencies. And when you do that as a leader, you are actually modeling for a whole institution that learning doesn't stop just because you have arrived, because you
Right.
never arrive.
Very true. Every day we are
that's
learning
why it's
something.
called lifelong learning, na?
Learners.
Yeah. Work in progress all
Always.
the time. Yeah.
Then that brings us back to what are these different tools and for development that can be created in the organization. There will be some outside the organization also which they will have to look at. But what is it as a school owner or a school leader, or even for teachers who have come here? What can they create for themselves in the organization?
Yeah, I think school is a huge repository of resources, and oftentimes we don't recognize it. One is, I'm not even talking about the tangible physical material called study materials, library, training manuals, and all that. But every classroom, every teacher is center. And if we can tap on that for building each other's competencies, the starting point could be that if you can map the competency of your team, And when I say competency, again, you can kind of bifurcate it as personal values and professional competencies, because these are not separable. Okay, these are two sides of the same coin. We do need someone who is this go-getter, but at the same time, we do need someone who can be calm in the crisis time. We do need someone who is very proficient with the language development program, and we do need someone who can actually design hands-on activities for that language development program. We do need someone who can communicate with parents, in a way that parents really feel enrolled. But we do need someone who can be very firm with parents when it comes to not switching roles. Like the other day, somebody asked me in the interview, what do you want us to do as parents? I said, just be nice parents. Just be parents. Just create a no war zone at home. Just do your role. Don't become a teacher, and don't expect me to become a parent. So I think we need to create this competency mapping of our team, because each teacher has some hardcore unique skill. And when I say skill, in terms of the academic skill, and make that person also almost like a resource person. Now, this is where the attitude of the team comes. We somehow, we are okay to learn from a third party, unknown, other side of the, screen. But sometimes we are not ready to learn from our fellow educators, because ego comes in the way.
Yes.
इससे मैं क्या सीखूं? ये तो कल ही आई है. Or she's so junior to me. Or do you really think that I'm not as good? So we get into this emotional interpretation of this ecosystem, Whereas if we have a peer observation, which is genuinely about going and seeing and learning two things from you, instead of finding two faults from you. But we don't do that. Peer observation becomes a farce so often. And then you have this whole compartmentalization between the subjects, but we want to do integration. Just why don't you sit down and actually, like what you call the cross-pollination between the domains. And that's the most important resource that you have within your school. And this also gives you an opportunity to work under different leaders. Let's say you have an event coming. It doesn't have to be only you who is leading.
Right.
Someone who is really good with organization skills. And here I am, following that person, working under, and that would help me to learn few things. So internally you have, if I were to give a very simple thing of a teacher seminar, peer observation, and actually best practice sharing in your review meetings, where the limelight is on different teachers. This way you're also motivating your team. And in the teacher seminar, we have this custom of just before Diwali vacation and just before the summer vacation, we ask 2 teacher volunteers to present their classroom practice. And you're building future facilitators. And I have discovered some amazing facilitators, because they come from a very hands-on, authentic learning. And that I can learn from my fellow educators. And you also have as I said, the academic team needs to pollinate with the administrative team. And you suddenly have probably an IT guy who can teach you a thing or two. Or maybe your, accounts guy can teach you how to do, advanced Excel and Tally. The attitude of anyone can be a teacher, and learning can happen from any part of your ecosystem is what will drive this of identifying internal tools.
Right. This reminds me, when I was at AVM, I was the facilitator over there, and I had to go for lesson observations with all the teachers. So whichever lessons I would really like myself, I would ask the teachers to have in a break time or something, remove some little time. All other teachers sit around and watch this teacher doing the lesson. So they learn from each other. Very good point that you put.
Yeah. And I think that's where the attitude of the system is, that we all can learn from each other, and you can really create a mind mapping of, I learned from
Ideas.
you on how to teach language. I learned from you on classroom management.
Right.
Then you don't come and see, na bhi kuch thi, acha nahi tha.
In fact, one other thing good they have in AVM is they also have something called in-service training. So every Friday, one teacher could come and, share her knowledge.
Yeah.
So that was
Yes,
another
I
good thing.
was
They
going
were.
to
Yeah.
speak about that in-service training,
Yeah.
and it makes people actually stretch beyond what they know
Yeah.
and what they
Yeah.
would normally learn. I
Yeah.
think this is really very, very important, because everyone is doing a lot of self-learning to be able to teach others.
Yeah. And in your teaching, you become a better learner, right?
From a better learner, you become a better teacher.
Yeah.
You sort of ingrain all those things yourself before you can give it to someone else.
Yeah, another important tool I feel internally, okay, in your internal organization is also the, apart from the formal and informal sharing, that you actually have, whether you can call it a person for the week, and showcasing, or she herself or he herself is showcasing his or her best practices.
Right.
We are talking about very tried and tested classroom skills,
True.
and that's also another very, very important resource. And another very important tool is that the class exchange, as you do school exchange.
Yes.
Somehow schools are so interested in going to Americas and Africas and Australias. We, of course, don't go to Bombay and Hyderabad so much because, some schools are doing, let alone the hinterland or the rural part. Again, it has to become DNA of the organization. But we don't even exchange between teachers, the class, It could even be an exercise in empathy, because we think that, it's so easy to be a teacher for, let's say, a grade 1 or a senior KG or toddlers, pre-nursery. Baba, I think then you would actually, say namaste to them day in and day out. And at the same time, you go and teach a 17-year-old and you realize that nothing is easy. But at the same time, you realize and you get this insight that each one requires different set of skill in facilitation and a different level of knowledge. It could be I'm teaching the same water here and the same water there, but the level of knowledge for the same transaction is very different, and that you genuinely build empathic community of respect and mutual admiration, and that really leads to most important attitude, that you don't assign blame. Otherwise, whatever class you get, you say pata nahi for pehle year ka teacher, I don't know what she
What you
did,
done.
that look at this, these children have come just not even mastered the basic concepts. You always think anything
Complain.
that's not okay is somebody else's responsibility.
Mhm.
Whereas that every level has its challenge. So I'm constantly weaving in the knowledge, skill, and attitude for all these tools.
Yes.
Many people over here are not associated with mainstream schools, and they are only in pre-primary schools. But even going from one class to the other, and sort of interchanging and learning how nicely one teacher can say a story, or how well another teacher can do a concept.
Yeah.
There's a whole world of learning available in your school.
We used to have this exercise, but for some reason we hadn't done it, and I think we will reboot it. We would pick up 2 days, and you could actually choose another role.
Oh.
You could be a teacher in another class, you could be a front office receptionist.
Oh, nice.
Because you think front office reception, and the front office receptionist can be, if she is very good with the art, she could be an art teacher. And unfortunately nobody wants to be the director. And but then you realize that that being in someone else's shoe,
True.
And you realize that it also gives you a professional perspective that if I want to have a growth map, it's a self check for me. Am I, in my temperament really, do I have a disposition? It's very easy to say क्या है kindergarten है, क्या है senior secondary है, कुछ accountability नहीं है, but it requires a mindset. So we used to have this, that you pick your role, and especially between the teaching and administrative faculty, and the whole system would go through this, the tool of learning each other's role. And you realize that you sit in that front office, you don't know half the parents, you don't know, you have bizarre questions, you face a lot of anger bouts, from parents on the other
Yes.
side. And you suddenly have requests that sound very bizarre, but you're still sitting and addressing it. And you kind of have such a lot of insight, and insight is a powerful knowledge, I must tell you, and these are not in the textbooks.
Right.
Wonderful. I think this is really, if people had to pick up one thing from here and they picked up this nugget of gold, I think it could change, the whole ecosystem of their school,
Yeah.
and the whole learning and training could reach a different height.
So true.
Wonderful.
Lakshmi, let's move on to the next question now.
Yeah.
We noticed that some of the school owners are actually not educationists. They just have the money, they start a school. So what kind of training would they require to upskill their knowledge about their own business that they're going to be starting?
So you have owners and owners, different
Right.
kinds, that makes a jungle. Some who genuinely want to know the bread and butter called education. So they are very well informed investors or stakeholders. Then there are some who say, मुझे बाकी कुछ मालूम नहीं, इतना मुझे profit दे दो. Okay. But I think it's an important responsibility of educational leaders, that's the principal, director, or the chief of the school, to educate your ethos, your value system, because while let's say the curriculum is the same, it's a leader who defines the culture of the organization. And you are the one who is setting the tone of the organization. You have a reason for why you do what you do. So while you may recommend, and it may not be taken well to the owners, that you need some formal certification, but the most important thing is this informal education of what their school is about. I think this is a most significant professional development. And I'm saying this from an experience of, my early years in other school systems. They get very impressed with the big bindi wali. They say, Madam, खूप छान करतात. Okay. And going is good. And but they know that something good is happening. As I said, good and nice is a bad word for me, non-committal word for me. खूप छान है school, because how do they realize? Because there is admission coming, money is getting generated, everything, but they have no clue of what's happening. And there comes a time there could be a clash, and there will be clashes, because you are actually heading an organization and there is other person who is owning the organization. So you can really see the borders that get blurred. And of course, who has the final power is the owner. Fair enough. Let's say you're out. Now the school's continuation of its ethos and the design and the culture and the choices are with the owner.
Right.
And I genuinely think that it is the leader's responsibility to build a sustainable model by educating the owners. How? Please don't call them in on any lecture bazi and a workshop. Nearly, I've designed it earlier once a week. I will have a meeting one-on-one with the core representative of the board. उसको समझे ना समझे आप आपका गाना बजाओ. Because they also have an innate wisdom. We must respect them for what they have brought. If they didn't have the money, I would not have the luxury of running the school. So let's be very clear on that. You know, the marriage is about somebody's money and my brain. Thankfully, it's not the other way around. Okay? Or if it's not, if not the other way around, it can't be my money because that will be a very poor school. But they can have the, insight and foresight. So have these weekly meetings as what I call, especially early years. The first 3 or 4 formative years, like the child, organization has formative years of building the pillars. And it's very important to take them along. Just as you take your parents, your system members, your teachers, your students, very important is to take along your investors, your owners on this journey. So that when you log out, if you're an employee, you know that they will look for sustainable next leadership level. That you know that the baton will be given to someone who has similar ethos. Otherwise, when you leave, ती बाई काहीतरी खूप छान करत होती, she was doing something very nice, but ये सब बंद कर दो अभी, let's go and do normal school. Normal school is punch lunch programs. So hence I feel that professional development without certification, without a syllabus, but actually translating why we do what we do. It could be a simple thing like I remember when we were building the school and I talked about how our room should be. And that was completely different from our investors who have been used to a huge bureaucracy cabins. All you need to do is to tell them about how a modern school education has to be such that where the principal and the director are the most accessible for stakeholders. Or for example, my, the architect talked about, madam, आपके room में एक separate toilet होना चाहिए. And I felt that was completely against the ethos of the equity of an organization where if a director doesn't go to the common toilet, that means you're sending a very, very wrong signal of equity. And I'm just giving that as an example.
Right.
But you need to translate why you do what you do in terms of ethos and value systems so that that's what will continue. The new leader will come and she or he will bring her own flavor. But some things, the DNA of an organization is embedded in the formative years. And hence, I think the investors deserve this coaching, I would call it, rather than a certification course.
Right.
And you build huge bridges between you and the organization and the owners.
You should not be scared of the owners. Just be very open and talk like a discussion with them.
Yeah. But
and
unfortunately,
I think this whole culture,
unfortunately,
permeates.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying the culture permeates to every other part, so there is one underlying culture, and that culture from the owner to the other parts, just like you said, you have your equity with even the toilet being, a separate entity or being a common entity. All those things may be little, but they send out underlying messages.
Yeah, like, in Orchid School, we are not called the sir and ma'am, we are called the thee. And I remember talking about it to the board members. And we are talking about a relationship with our students. And, don't expect a wow and a clap every time. As leaders, we need to learn that coaching is my karma. Outcome is going to happen after I'm gone. But I think the most important thing is that am I transferring everything I do in oral and written document so that there is a continuity of what practices are there and why we are having this approach to teaching or learning or building relationship. These are more important because textbook se kaise sikhana hai would automatically be a transference of knowledge. but what kind of relationship in the organization, what kind of transparency in the organization, what kind of decision making process in the organization. But a lot of time, it's a very two-way thing that we view them as the establishment, the management, and they view us as the employees. So oftentimes the schism begins with a sense of mistrust, a very temporary relationship. And hence, I often see leaders not owning. As long as I am in this chair, can I own the ethos? Can I own the ideology? I don't have to own the school building because nobody can own it. And how do you then reflect that to the board members that I can have an argument and agreement, but that doesn't mean I have to immediately. If you notice the language, a lot of time is anything that's not a good decision, pata nahi abhi management ne liya hai,
True.
you know, and then you're forwarding that culture of this unknown entity who is like a Vikram Vetal, relationship, making this negative decision. Whereas you are there to coach there and coach here. And educational leaders eventually need to become coaches.
I'm just a little curious to ask you, Lakshmi. You said teachers were called D. So what, that is Didi D or what?
Didi,
Oh,
Didi Kati and Da.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, so
Very
I'm
nice.
known as Lakshmi D. A lot of time people would call me Mrs. Kumar. I would say that's not my name.
How sweet.
Ma'am, I'm not really a representative of the crown.
Yeah.
But
I like that. No, this reminds me of a financial term. It's called legacy planning. So I think here you're actually doing legacy planning. You're planning for the school to take on someone else taking on the baton and running.
Right.
yeah, and I'm hoping that in educating my owners, they will at least aspire to sustain 80% of the practices, not my name. That's not really important.
Right.
But it's very important. And I often say this, and I must share this. We can do succession planning for titles, structures, my chair, my office, hierarchy, power. But we can never do succession planning for my attitude, my passion.
Yes.
And that can happen only with modeling. And you hope you can infection is a very wrong word right now. You can
Yes.
incubate, you can incubate, you can spread so that more people get pollinated for the passion and the, commitment. So I think it's important for the, owners, because I sometimes see schools changing principles or, leaders quickly changing.
Right.
And the management needs to sit down and think about what's happening. And leaders also sometimes leave job like, एक conflict हो गया तो बस खत्म,
हाँ, छोड़ दिया.
and then suddenly all teachers gone, all students gone, all our commitment gone, because why? I can't take it anymore. But I'm saying we are teaching children conflict management, conflict resolution, conversations, peace building. How about I practicing it first?
Yeah.
So I think we need to embody that in our professional conduct.
Should even be learning about emotional quotient, I think, which is lacking more now.
Yeah. Oh yes. Practicing, I guess.
Yes.
Learning happens very easily. A lot of us have emotional intelligence certification.
True.
Yeah. Again, we have the certification.
Yeah, that's why I said, yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah.
True. I like that
So again,
pun
as
on
I
the.
said, yeah, finally the pudding is about eating and not making.
Proof is in the tasting, yes. True. So now we come to our last question. So basically now we are coming to professional development from all these books. We're coming to in-house professional development, in-service trainings happening. And we've talked about, getting this culture permeating in the school by educating the owner. Can we actually get professional development from our community around us? It doesn't have to be limited to your school and your academic knowledge and, just in that little bit of that little basket, or can we just spread out and get things from our community and from our culture? India is so rich in culture.
Yep. I think the prerequisite is open mind. That's the first starting point. The next prerequisite is that, I'm a maths teacher, but I need to enrich myself with some music or art or maybe some geography, or I'm a language teacher. I do need to look at the angles, and that I do need to see how entire dance is choreographed, or how is the costume being designed, or that can I really be a physical education teacher and stand up for the campaign of environment and sustainability without giving you the role responsibility. What is happening right now in the school is that we are so compartmentalized in our role that sometimes you think that, oh, how is it going to affect me, so I don't want to join. Like recently we had organized a workshop talk on board games found in temple architecture. Okay, it's an organization in Chennai, it's called Krida. Based on that, then they came up with a lot of board games and talking about strategies, statistics, and the virtues, the values, Paramapada Shobhanam, and you have this Bagan Bakri, and she has done a PhD in temple architecture and board game. And why were the board games carved? Now, next time you walk into old temples, you will always look on the floor. Obviously the workers, the artisans have carved those games and played while maybe either to just get rid of the boredom of construction, break, whatever. Now, this knowledge or this awareness doesn't belong to any domain, but it definitely belongs to a teacher's domain. But teachers don't see this. Or a wonderful play, that has come to your town. Or kuch bhi nahi to, even it could be a Go-Coop exhibition. Just go and look at different kinds of textiles from different parts of India, but as an educator and not just as a consumer of buying the fabric. And I can tell you that, the kind of expansive, landscape available for us as from the community is so much. But we nearly shut most of our options in the name of ye mera subject nahi hai.
Yeah.
Oh, I get so aggrieved with this attitude of compulsory hai kya?
True.
I mean, let's say you have a local music concert and we say, let's all go. Compulsory hai kya? And I begin to find only our profession seems to limit ourselves, that, not realizing that if I have gone to Raghu Dikshit's concert, I can always bring some things in my teaching. If I have attended a workshop on media literacy, I can always bring that knowledge in while I'm teaching language of image and what does it promote. But we deprive ourselves by narrowing our what we call the specialization. And I think that's a worst disservice that we do to our profession, is that we don't realize that the communities and unless it is provided as a fun form of a picnic to a farmhouse, all our teachers are ready.
Right.
But I remember organizing a local visit to a Kelkar museum facilitated by a historian. And I thought whatever we expected from our students, our teachers would do, taking notes. And that guy had given a pre-sheet and during the visit sheet, most of us didn't do it. Especially I felt that teachers who felt ये तो मेरा subject नहीं है. Or we went to Mahabalipuram on a team building leadership, travel we did. And we hired a local historian to give us a historical perspective of Mamalapuram. And I could see sometimes the teachers, ये तो मेरा subject नहीं है. If you don't see a value of a learning, then you will never know where to use it. Whereas if you say, let me learn it because you never know where I can use it, you will be an engaged learner. So I say to my teachers, that don't limit yourself to your subject. Don't limit yourself to a knowledge space. Be interested in, the entire, landscape of our society, because you never know where you can actually use this knowledge to enrich your curriculum. Yesterday I was listening to someone talking about teaching geography, about teaching population in the geography subject. And she talked about the subject integration to the level she said that, it can be with economics, it can be with culture, why some cultures promote more children as a wealth versus why some cultures promote no child also as a way of being very cool. And to, the whole lot of knowledge from all the other fields. But if you haven't exposed yourself, all you will do is open the chapter called population, read out the lesson, read the questions, underline the answers, khatam ho gaya mera kaam, and I am out.
And kids don't register anything.
Yeah. And
you
you
don't
say,
remember anything either.
Yeah. Or you say, ये तो portion में नहीं है, important chapter नहीं है. So today we have to call ourselves as a professional. Let's look at all the professionals. And I have said this in many forums. Would you go to a doctor who graduated in 1984 and hasn't upgraded his or her medical knowledge of how to treat your body? You won't. Would you go to a lawyer and give your most important case if the guy hasn't gotten the latest amendments and all the earlier judgments and he doesn't have a whole system knowledge of how it is? You won't. But we expect that I graduated in 1984, I did my BEd, and there I am. And you expect that children should just come to me, respect me, parents should appreciate me, and आजकल थोड़ा ये भी बिल्कुल ही respect नहीं है. But I'm saying that earning the professional respect is in my hand. And that cannot be done just by chance. It has to have a design. I have to have a mapping of my journey as a professional facilitator. Yeah.
Very well put,
Wonderful.
Lakshmi. Superb. Now, only thing, one thing I feel they've missed out somewhere is training of the class 4 staff, which is so important. And very few schools actually do that. It just came out suddenly to my mind.
Yeah. When I talked about the whole system, that's what I felt, that a lot of schools, leave out, especially, building competency for security. Because today, school security is not about salam and then entry, exit ka, this. School security today is a lot about also security of the building, safety of the building, people's entry, children's safety, awareness of POXO, awareness of all the laws that govern the school systems. And also our women maushis and kakas, they also have aspirations. And is the school facilitating? Can we have a English spoken language classes by giving them that power of understanding spoken language? Computer literacy, because today, computer literacy is not only for the educated. even if you're not having a formal education, people can be literate in terms of technology, and also including them in the organization's team building programs, because they're important members. And, I often draw inspiration from my earlier profession of being in the mental health, where it talks about the therapeutic community. In mental health setting, we say that every member is a therapist, from your ward boy, because the way he or she treats the patient, it's not only the psychiatrist, it's the nurse, the ward boy, the aya, the security, and the one who is administering the ECT. Everyone needs to have that approach of contributing to the therapy process. And I say the same, that everyone must contribute to the educational process of the system. That includes education for self and education for others. So in that sense, we need to also provide avenues for our class 4 employees, or I would call them the service community, as to where can they go from point A to point B.
Yes.
And it's our responsibility. And I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, Bela. Thank you.
Any questions do we have, Amrita, from the audience?
I
If
can't
audience has
see
any
any. I
questions,
think everyone has just lapped
put
up
it up in the
everything you
question
have
answer
said,
box.
Lakshmi. They don't have any questions out here.
Thank you.
But it was wonderful. It was really nice. I think there were so many things that people can take from this episode and put them together and apply them. So
Yeah,
that is the
just want to
purpose.
share another example is that, Rekha knows this. We have an annual staff retreat. And I say to my team that teachers, they may not, please, आप उसको साड़ी, crowning glass, baking glass मत दो. Give a learning experience that stays with them lifelong. Learning experience of inclusion, diversity, and respect. So we all pack our bags and we go to Panchgani for 2 days to Asia Plateau.
That ETST thing you're talking about?
No, this is Orchid School staff retreat.
Okay.
And there, Maushis, Kaka, security, Pune, Aya, lab, in charge, to the principal, to the director, all have packed our bags. Unless, of course, you have issues of, not being able to join.
Right.
And how do we actually share a room? Lottery.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Because if you're talking about leaving your title and human to human interaction, it starts from there. But having said that, it doesn't come so easily, I must tell you. We still have comfort and discomfort of iske saath nahi hai. We understand the gender because of the cultural context, but iske saath nahi hai. I remember one Maushi once landed up with me. Pichari, she cried the whole day. She was so scared. But I have to reveal that I am a human being here, And then, she, of course, wanted to have fun, thinking that the director will not have fun. So she asked me, Ratri, amcha mandali gappa maraycha, can I be in others' room and come and sleep anytime? Anytime you can come back. Because we have all been those, pajama party characters.
Yes.
And in that, what we do then is that we have common programs, and we have programs in Marathi for the service staff on personal development and institutional process, and we have programs for teachers and administrators. So we do this as an annual ritual. And that the takeaways are far more than any certification.
Definitely.
So that's that's another community resource. And then you then get to meet, just being in a space like Asia Plateau for women who have never even stepped out of their house. I remember Maushi, some of them who were not allowed to wear anything other than saris, but families gave special permission, Atta Salwar Kameez Galu Shaknare.
So cute.
How nice.
There are families that said, Ratri Zaichas nahi hai too, that they have argued with their spouse and said, nahi mala Zailas paiji. I need to go. We are talking about development as a roadmap for empowerment. So don't look at this cerebral development. In all this professional training and certification, don't look for cerebral development. I can be bloated with so many certificates, but
Right.
what I need to be finally is empowerment. And I think that's what the final aim of any of this 360-degree professional development is all about.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right?
It was absolutely lovely, Lakshmi.
So I
It was,
enjoyed talking about it.
No,
it
it
was
was really
really nice.
fantastic. Good ideas, good takeaways. Thank you so much, Lakshmi, for being on our ABCD show. Truly,
Thank you
truly
can
for
see-
inviting
appreciate.
me.
I can see all the, comments over here. Bela, can you
Yes.
see where
Yes.
everybody has said
Thanks for a
thank
great
you
session.
and lovely.
Yeah, and for those of you who probably expected me to give a list of courses, I say that should be customized,
Right.
that should be need-based, and that should have a return of investment. Keep these three mantras in hand for your professional development program.
So well
Okay.
put, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Thank you once again,
Thank
Lakshmi.
you.
I just introduced the next week's speaker. On 2nd December, Wednesday, again 4 p.m., we have Deepa Bhushan, who is the director of the school of CP Goenka International School. And her topic is assessment in the physical format. How can it be authentic? Assessment in the online format. Is it authentic? So stay tuned for next Wednesday. Until next time. Thank you, Lakshmi, once again. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lakshmi.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks to all the audience as well. Bye-bye.
Yes, thanks to everyone who attended the ABCD show.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
please do like our Facebook page, our Instagram, and also our YouTube channel. Thank you once again. And if you're not a member of the Education Thought Leaders group, ABC Thought Leaders, please join the group as well. The
Please
link is
join
posted
the
in the
Thought
chat.
Leader.
Yes.
Yes, please join the Thought Leaders group. Contribute. We're all here to give back. So please be a person who also gives back.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
once again.
Thank you.
Bye, Lakshmi,
Amrita,
again.
Thank you, Bella. We'll be in touch.
Yes,
Yeah?
we will.
Thank
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.